as ever to be playing Oddworld Metrics here. We are in Zulak 2, which is the third to last zone of Oddworld New N Tasty. We gotta do a puzzle first. I gotta concentrate for this one specific part. Oopsies. Hold on. I remember how to do this. Nope. There we go. Okay, I remember now. It's R2. My man. So people say I'm really good at Oddworld, which is why I'm doing this Let Us Play. I've heard some people complimenting me on my Oddworld skills, and that was just a really fascinating demonstration of how some of those skills pan out. But yeah, that's where we are, and the main reason why I am uploading this... Oh, it's Zulak 3, not Zulak 2. Excuse me. The main reason why I'm doing this is because Lorne Lanning of Oddworld Inhabitants and hosted a panel on EGX, and that panel was about details for Soulstorm, Oddworld Abe's Exodus, which is the title of the Oddworld Abe's Exodus remake. And naturally I have a couple of opinions about it that I wanted to share. We can't possess that guy, unfortunately, but there's better ways to do it. So the EGX conference, for those who may not know, I'm pretty sure that stands for Electronic Gaming Expo. I don't know if that's true. That just seems like that would be what makes the most sense in terms of what it makes sense. And there was no gameplay shown. Lorne was talking more about just some of the philosophies behind the game and kind of what to expect. Oh Jesus! I didn't spawn the slog, so I'm just gonna load this checkpoint, which I can't do. So I have to kill myself. Why do birds suddenly appear? Wonderful. So it was a lot of just talking about the philosophies of the game and what to expect. Some of the things about what to expect kind of bothered me. They're kind of retconning the Gluckins for Flag or Aslick. I could do without Flag. I always thought Flag was boring, but I really like Drippic, so I'm kind of sad that he and Aslick are kind of gone. God fucking... Thank God. Okay. I didn't want to mess that up again. I thought those Gluckins from the original Abe's Exodus brought a lot of character into the world and kind of showed how diverse Gluckins could be. Lorne talked about making the Gluckins less cartoony. Like not having cartoony proportions and stuff, and he showed some examples. I still think they look pretty cartoony. Like they don't have glowy red eyes anymore. They have weird paley skin, and I guess that makes more sense. But it might be the redesign is interesting, and they have basically completely new Gluckins for the whole thing. One of them, which looks like a female Gluckin, which is I don't know if this is like. Oh, this is a female Gluckin. Or if it's just a Gluckin that's just identifies as like more female. And I wonder if that's something that they would address at all, because in this series, you know, I'm not really qualified to talk about this, but just on a very surface level, the idea of gender is pretty straightforward. There's a queen, like every species seems to have a queen, and then everything that comes out of the queen seems to just have like one gender, not necessarily a male gender, just like it's not the queen. So I guess you can think of it like ants or something. But even ants have like, or bees have like female bees that aren't the queen, so I don't even know if that's the right comparison. And in Oddworld, the only character that really seems to have any female identifying characteristics. Actually, there were two. They were both in Stranger's Wrath, and it was Joe Mama, who was an outlaw, and whose characterization was nothing more than just being higher pitched than the other outlaws. That was literally it. And then there was the grub leader, who again didn't really make any sort of deal out of it. It was just like the grub leader just had clothes that one would identify as like female, like lipstick and like eyeliner and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe it won't mean anything, but I'm curious to see if it's anything they'll address, and if they do address it, is it something they'll address well? Oh. We gotta do a here boy here. This is the first time we're actually having a slaw come in is important. Like so. Oh, no, he blew himself up. Well, that's all I needed him for anyway. Wonderful. So yeah, there was the Gluckin reveals, like 3 new Gluckins. They showed up Mullet. They showed Mullock. Mullock looks way different now. Mullock did not come back in Abe's Exodus. So it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate him here. Lorne talked about making him more sympathetic, which is an interesting idea. That's an idea that always interested me growing up, like making the Sligs and the Gluckins not so black and white, and kind of for example, like Lorne even mentioned like, oh, you may not even have to kill Sligs this time around. That's actually the best ending, is to not kill any Sligs. And it's like, oh, well, that's interesting. Like that we've never had to like care about whether a Slig lived or died or not. And so like about it, but with the way the world is these days, the idea of being sympathetic to like CEOs and corporate villains and stuff like that does not appeal to me as much as it used to. And now I'm like more thinking like, okay, if they do it, like, will it be significant? And if it's significant, will they go too far? Like, will the person, like, do we end up having Mullock pull a Jason Statham in Fast and the Furious 6? I don't know if that's a reference that anyone will know. Fast and the Furious is a pretty popular series, but I highly doubt it's popular for most like people who watch Let's Plays, including me. I'm including myself in that mix. I wouldn't even watch the Fast and the Furious 6 if it wasn't for GiantBomb.com. Finally, I did really bad blowing that thing up. That must not have been exciting to watch. So yeah, there was that, right? There was the you know, the Gluckin reveal. They also showed off a couple of Mudokons too. There was like, here's Alf. The Mudokons look a lot more distinctive, which I think is cool. Like Alf looks totally different, and he has like work clothes and stuff. And I was like, oh, cool, work clothes. Like that's like he's a different character, which is kind of interesting. They had some soft-eyed boy there too, which is also like they wanted to make him as sympathetic as possible. Lorne said they wanted to do that so then we'd feel bad when he died. So I guess I'm not going to get attached to him. I don't know. There's also an Abe redesign too, but it's barely a redesign. It's like his hair is shorter, like big deal. It doesn't really mean much of anything in my opinion. Hold on. I want to take a bomb with me. The last thing, not the last thing, I'm just kind of trying to remember what I saw about it. I was able to like mull it over for a couple of, for a couple of hours now. One thing that worried a lot of people, and quite frankly it actually doesn't worry me that much, is the fact that it seems like the gameplay is going to be significantly different. So like Lorne talked about like crafting mechanics. And like having an inventory, which has never been in these kinds of Abe games before. Like we saw like an inventory wheel, which is weird, you know. I won't blame people for being a little turned off at that, with like a UI and stuff. And then there's even the possibility that like controlling Mudokons, like he hinted at the possibility of controlling more than, look, in theory the game starts off just like before, where right after the last games, right after this game ends, New and Tasty, you've saved all the Mudokons theoretically, and they all follow you to Necrum and like Soulstorm Brewery and are supposed to help you on your quest. So theoretically, you might have to control up to like hundreds of Mudokons at once, and some people are worried about that because they're like, "Oh, is this like an RTS now?" I'm not super bothered by that. I mean, I feel like gameplay has always been kind of against. How do I put this? Oddworld's gameplay has always been sort of like against like its themes, like got in the way of expressing its themes, because sometimes the gameplay makes you do weird things. There was a really good article on Waypoint not too long ago about this actually, where there was a commentary about the fact that like, oh, you're supposed to like save all these like creatures and stuff. Oh my god, I'm so trash at this now. There's like you're supposed to like save everyone, but like Elm is always used as like a tool, which is kind of weird when Elm is shown to be clearly intelligent. And the article didn't bring this up, but I always thought it was weird that you're supposed to kill paramites and scraps in these games, or you're expected to. When oh shit, okay, you're always expected to kill paramites and scraps in these games, but you're supposed to be like a savior of nature, so why are you trying to kill paramites and scraps? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. That didn't work well in my favor. Hold on, I need like a second to focus on these fools. I was never good at this bit. This bit was a lot easier in Abe's Odyssey because you could just possess these sligs. There was never like a depossession, an anti-chant thing in the same screen as here before, but now you gotta like throw grenades. I apologize if I'm not talking about what's happening directly on screen too much. It's pretty self-explanatory, and most of these puzzles are easy, I guess. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. I am actually gonna go up here as a slig just to make sure there's no nasty surprise up here. Oh, look at that, there is a nasty surprise. Wonderful. He's probably gonna go back to sleep. At least I hope so. I'm gonna get a grenade. But yeah, so like the gameplay in Oddworld has always been kind of at odds with its own themes, and it changing to like an RTS kind of deal, or like basically not the same as this puzzle platformer. I like this puzzle platformer gameplay, but I mean, this game, New N Tasty, I don't think is very good gameplay wise. And so I'm not against the idea of them like trying something completely new. You know, the game could be a honestly, Oddworld could be just a visual novel, and I think that would be fine. You know, well, I don't even need it to be a game anymore. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but like, who cares? No, the fact that this is a video game, it's just a means of expressing an idea. It's not like, you know, Lorne just did this. Lorne, when the Oddworld Inhabitants originally had it all be a video game because that's where the technology was, might still be, and it was like a good way to express ideas to like a wider audience and like a younger one, which worked out really well. So, you know, it's a different game, like big deal. Let them experiment, you know. And I think that's about all that I really remember for EGX from that conference. Most of everything else, like there was a Q&A, but I didn't watch it because apparently it was really cringy, and there was like a video that didn't work a lot. But as of right now, I'm still kind of in the same mindset with Soul. Oh yeah, they showed this. I'm gonna stop here for a second. They showed this trailer that was. It still had really bad, weird, like pop music. I don't know why they insist on doing that stuff, but there's a bad taste in my mouth. It's so like now it's like so edgelord dark, and even Lorne is like, oh, we're making it a lot darker now. So you know, get ready. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Now you're going the other way with this. They're doing exactly what I was afraid of. Like they're leaning so hard into the edginess that I cannot take it seriously at all. So I'm kind of approaching the game still from like a very cautious mood. I'm probably not going to walk into it with a very optimistic mindset, but maybe like low expectations, but maybe that'll be a good thing. Maybe it'll blow my mind away. Wait, that was Zulag 2. We'll do Zulag 3, and I'll actually talk about what I'm doing on the video game. See ya.